Hello everyone, it's Adam here. We are sitting down at the iMac because we're going to talk about the new Hue Sync application. So here it is. Hopefully the refresh rate works out just fine. It's a cool little icon actually, which I'll show you guys right now. So there it is, Hue Sync. It's running right now on the Mac. Now this application is only for Mac and PC. It does not work with Apple TV, Shield, Android TV, those kind of applications, Roku. So this is a great tool for, man, I wish I was in like a dorm room right now. Because my first place out of high school, I had a 30-inch Dell, and it was this 30-inch display. I think it wasn't quite 4K. This is 2004 we're talking about. But it was wonderful. And if I had the Hue bulbs at the time, this would have been amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what we have set up here. I have a full HomeKit house. So in the settings, we have 3 different entertainment areas. We've got television, kitchen, and then we have whole home. Television is 2 bloom lights from Phillips Hue. Kitchen is 3 ambient color lights, and then whole home is all 5 of them. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Other than that, you've really got, stuff having to do with your display, some keyboard shortcuts, how much performance do you want to use on your desktop, do you want this to start when your computer starts, those kind of things. We don't really care about that. And then the bridge set up right there. So when you close settings, we're set to whole home right now. You've got 4 different modes. You've got scenes, where you can choose a certain color palette, which this is already available in the iOS app for Hue or via your Siri commands. Games, I haven't tried this one yet. Music, it listens to the music coming out of your speakers on the iMac, and you have different intensities, so how fast the colors change. Then you've got a few different color palettes, which are seen. Let's see if I can focus it in. There you go, right there. And then finally, video. Same thing as the music, looks like they're the same. You choose the intensity, and then you can say also use the audio for the effect. So that gives an extra sort of audio and video for, you can disable this and it'll use the video color palette. It's kind of in my testing, what I noticed was that, like for example, watching Wizard of Oz, when you go into a really green, high vegetation scene, all the lights turn a shade of green, but they will, instead of just simply maintaining green, they will also sort of jitter a little bit with some of the music in the background, the orchestra and such. It's kind of interesting thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's dim the lights and I'll show you what it looks like. One second. So we are in the dark right now, but don't be afraid. We're going to go whole home, turn this on. So right now you've got the default mode. Sorry the house is so messy. So these bloom lights are set to red. We have over here the 3 kitchen lights, which are the color ambience lights. And generally this is my standard setting, which is the natural kind of warm tone that I have with these, the always on sort of tone. The bloom lights I usually have in a kind of a light pink and blue. I keep these on at night. It's the only thing that it's on in the house when I'm watching television at night. So we're going to cut over to video. We're going to change it to intense and do that. Lots of colors here. So before we hit play, we're going to click Start Light Sync. Actually, I'll do this backwards. We're going to hit play in QuickTime. When you hit Start Light Sync, listen. It will actually stop. It will actually start. It'll delay the video audio just a second. Now, if you look around, this is pink, right? That's green. Watch the lights over here. Blue, red. So as the scene changes, now here's the problem with this. It's about 1/10 of a second behind the scene changing on my iMac. Over here, same thing applies. Now, while this is going, I'm going to show you on the Hue app how you set up, because you can't actually set up a an entertainment center on your Mac. You've got to do it in the Hue app for iOS. So in here, we have our iPad mini with Hue on it. So here's our 3 scenes. When you click this, you're actually able to choose where the lights are. So the TV blooms right underneath it. But if I go whole home, you can see we got the 2 bloom lights in front. Then you have the kitchen lights are actually behind the television and behind the couch. Now, of course, the couch is right here, and the lights are way back there, which doesn't quite align with what you have here. But again, this is great for a dorm room. I mean, it'd be great to have a couple of blooms right behind your couch in your dorm room, and then a couple of blooms underneath your monitor, for example, your large monitor, and then have these set up. So once this is done, you've got your 3 entertainment areas that I've created. You can create more if you'd like to, and pick any combination you would like. Let's turn off South Park and let's go to Wizard of Oz. So we've got this is playing through here. And right now we're kind of a green yellow pastel scene. Now for a movie like this, it's not happening as fast as the South Park movie, which is animated. There's not a big color palette being used. So we're kind of in one scene for a while, so it's not as annoying. Even have the high intensity set up, it's not changing colors constantly. It's very subtle. But if I go back a bit, now we're at the entrance to the castle. We go back to the yellow brick road. You got a little bit of lighterness happens there. And it's subtle. It is changing, but slowly. And the flicker might actually be really strong, but if you tell the intensity to be lower, the color change will happen slower. It won't be as immediate. It won't be as stark. So it won't be kind of distracting. So I think what I'll end up doing is I'll end up in the light sync area, change this to more moderate for daily usage in my usage. So now let's go over to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And we're going to, now this one's a very, pretty standard color palette. A lot of sand. So when we go back from here, you won't see a lot of change in these lights. Now again, we're on the intense setting. Now these background lights are a little bit wider than the bloom lights. Whiter, not wider. The bloom lights happen to stay a little bit more tan and tinted along. They kind of match the scene, and the rear lights kind of illuminate the rest of the room. Now finally I'll play with you some copyright music, which will probably make this video demonetized, but it's only fair, right, to do this properly. So I was listening to a Tribe Called Quest, so let's do Bonita. Oh, we have to actually go over here, stop light sync, go over to music, choose a color palette. Let's do, this one looks pretty good. Now we're going to hit play on iTunes. Oops. When I hit start light sync, listen. That pause is it basically configuring itself for the new input. So it's going from the video input to the audio input. And you can see the reflection here. Let's look at it in real time. So in the front you've got the blue. Oh, actually no. Stop light sync and pause this. We're going to turn the intensity up. You can actually control the intensity brightness real time. So we'll do max setting, music. Let's change the color palette again. And now, right now it's dark. There's no music playing right now, even though we have light sync enabled. Hit play. And this is this color palette. Let's do the more blue one. This will be the most contrast. So we're going from the one on the far right to the one in the middle here. Start light sync. And now we've got a little bit more blue. So all these are synced up. And if this is too bright for your guest, then we just go over here again, turn the intensity down, 40%. So now it's a little bit darker. There are still pulses, but it's not as intense. There you go. So, I mean, without a doubt, this needs to come to Apple TV. This is pointless. I mean, I have a 27-inch iMac over here across the room. Some people have a MacBook Air or a laptop. They're not all going to crowd, or they're not going to spend $50 per bulb on a Hue setup. You know, you need at least 2 of these, probably 5 ideally, in a hub, and then watch movies off an iMac. Now, it's great for music, but we have a Sonos and a HomePod setup, so we have different music devices that don't work with Philips Hue. We have to use the iMac, Spotify or iTunes or even QuickTime to do this. And then if we want to watch a movie, I actually did a test of sending the video from here via AirPlay to the Apple TV. But unfortunately, what ended up happening was the delay that I already noticed before was even more intense, because the AirPlay 1 to an Apple TV is about a 2-second delay, and it does this audio video trickery to make it all work. But what ends up happening is the scene changed on the Apple TV way before the scene would change in the lights, and it ended up being kind of distracting. So you go from like an ocean scene to a sand scene, and the blue to yellow would be 2-3 seconds behind. So this is a lot of work to do going forward, and I think the ultimate hack here is going to be first-party integration with Apple and the Apple TV and HomeKit in order to make this work. I love it. I wish I could keep it on all the time when we're watching. I mean, I would keep it on constantly for watching movies on my 4K television with the Apple TV, but at this time, it's limited to just the Mac and PC. So, thanks for watching. There was a lot of videos about this at CES, but I think this is I'm the first person to do like a review like this. The games thing, once again, would be really cool if I had 2 Hue lights that were kind of behind the iMac, kind of down here, and that would be interesting as well, but I don't have those because I am in a house. But if I'm in a dorm room, I've got 2 Bloom lights behind my 30-inch display, and that's my TV, my gaming computer, my sound system, etc. This is awesome. But unfortunately, I live in a real house and have a real TV and a real whole home sound system. So this being restricted to just my iMac connected to 5 remote bulbs around the house is tacky. And I'll never use it until it comes to working with my Sonos or my HomePod directly or my Apple TV directly. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this was helpful. Really cool. It's a free download at Phillips, and I'll link below the ambient starter packs and the Bloom starter packs, so you can get this going on your own. And thanks for watching. Take care, guys.